Hello everyone. So we are here with our next topic, that is application number 2 of Gauss theorem, that is electric field due to an infinite line of charge. As we can see from the diagram, this is a line of charge having linear charge density lambda, means charge per unit length on this straight wire of infinite length is lambda, and we are considering a cylindrical Gaussian surface, means it is an hypothetical surface which is actually covering our line of charge, and this cylindrical Gaussian surface is of length L and radius r, and the line of charge is actually present at the axis of this cylindrical Gaussian surface. Now, for the Gaussian surface, there are two types of surfaces. First is flat surface and other one is curved surface. At this flat surface, this is an elementary area. So the direction of the dA vector will be upwards and the direction of electric field at this point will be away from this positive charge. This is the direction of electric field. So the angle between dA vector and E vector should be 90 degree here. And also we are considering another elementary area on the curved surface like this. So the direction of dA vector will be radially outwards, so as the direction of electric field, means at this elementary area the angle between electric field and dA vector will be 0 degree. And also we have to determine the intensity of electric field due to this line of charge at any point distant r from the wire, means at any point on the curved surface of this Gaussian cylinder. So let's move towards the derivation. First thing is the net flux passing through the flat surface of Gaussian cylinder. Let this flux be phi 1 and it is equal to integration E vector dot dA vector, and for flat surface I have told you that the angle will be 90 degree. So here we are using integration E dA cos 90 and the value of cos 90 is 0. So the flux passing through the flat surface will be 0, and the net flux passing through the curved surface of Gaussian cylinder, means this curved surface of Gaussian cylinder angle is 0. So phi 2 is equal to E vector dot integration E vector dot dA vector is equal to integration E dA cos 0, and cos 0 is 1, so it will be E integration E dA. In next line, phi 2 will be equal to E, as E is constant, E integration dA. Integration dA will give the total curved surface area of the cylinder, that is actually 2 pi RL. So phi 2 will become E into 2 pi RL. Now the net flux passing through the complete cylinder, that is suppose phi E. So phi E will be equal to phi 1 plus phi 2, means flux passing through the flat surface plus flux passing through curved surface is equal to 0 plus E into 2 pi RL. Let it be equation number first. Now as it is the application of Gauss theorem, so we have to use Gauss theorem here. The net flux passing through the cylinder is equal to total charge enclosed inside the cylinder upon epsilon naught. As we know, the length of wire which is enclosed inside the cylinder is L, and the charge per unit length of the wire will be lambda. So the total charge enclosed inside the cylinder will be lambda into L. So here the total charge enclosed is lambda L upon epsilon naught, will also give you the net flux in linked with the Gaussian cylinder. It is marked by equation number second. The explanation of this thing is given over here, and on comparing equation first and second, as both are giving net flux passing through the Gaussian cylinder, so E into 2 pi RL is equal to lambda L upon epsilon naught. L and L cancelled out, so E is equal to 1 upon 2 pi epsilon naught lambda upon R. On multiplying and dividing by 2, so it will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into 2 lambda upon R. This is the expression for electric field due to an infinite line of charge by Gauss theorem. That is all for this derivation. Thank you.